Boom. First off the cover. Some motherfuckers might be like, what the fuck is this kindergarten ass shit? Motherfucker, get off a dick. I just really wanted it to be some simplistic shit. Realistically, at first, I didn't want this to be like this. I kind of wanted some like paper type shit and made it look like it was drawn from scratch. And I wanted like a girl walking. The song Out of Reach, my Bossa Nova song that I'm gonna drop next week, is heavily inspired by the song The Girl from Ipanema by Antonio Carlos, something. I don't really know bro's name, but it's some like older Bossa Nova classic, and Frank Sinatra was also on like the English translation version of it, and I just really fucked with the song. I like Bossa Nova. I just want to make a song damn near as like a reference or calling damn near to the same song. So with the cover, I literally kind of just got like a pencil type brush, and I mean I just colored everything in from scratch. So I mean, this is my name. I'm using like this font called Hand Doodle. I found it online. I'm just looking for like coolish type fonts online. So yeah, Hand Doodle font. You can see that's what it's called over here. I drew in the sky, I drew in the hand just by color, and then I kind of like took away some of like, that's what the clippy mask over here is for. So essentially the way I did this is I have this all grouped together in this folder. I click this over here, and then when you have this clicked, you can like adjust the canvas. So if I have my main color over here as black, I can take away some of the background just as I did over there. And yeah, whenever I did that, I ended up with this over here, and I liked it. I just wanted the background of like the hand to be a bit brighter. Then the hand as it is right over there. And then I also drew in the sun top right. And yeah, that's as simple as the cover came out to be. And I was like, dang, this is pretty all right looking. Then I looked at it later and I was like, dang, I like it. The reason I ended up putting a hand here, I also drew some clouds over the sky as well, the minimal clouds right there. But the reason that I ended up putting the hand here instead of just like a sky is because, you know, out of reach. Like imagine the illusion of I'm reaching for the sky and the clouds, you know, they're out of reach as I'm a person on the ground. So I wanted that to kind of be the thing, and I just wanted the name to simply be here. I just really fuck with shit kind of like that, especially like on Japanese covers when they have them to the left. Like for example, this shit, I really fuck with this shit in Japanese covers, so I just wanted some simplistic shit on the bottom right here. So yeah, that's how I ended up with the cover. Simple as that. Next up, we are going into FL. So this is the entire beat. I also do play, because I have like this bridge part, I play ukulele on this. I'm not fixing to pop it out. It's like somewhere behind me, and I really cannot play the chords if I give a shot, because I suck ass at that shit. But you know, I just play some chords. This is exported from the recording file. Over here, I have the MIDI essentially of what it sounds like. I played the chords one day, didn't write them down, so I had to figure them out, but these are the chords. We have a B minor chord on his second inversion. Over here we have, I believe this is D augmented, because we got the fifth pushed down on the major chord. And whenever you're working on a bridge, I feel like a lot of times in main songs, it's so easy to just fall into the pattern of using major and minor chords, which is cool. But if you're working on a bridge, I feel like it's very useful to use suspended chords. For example, we have a suspended 2 chord right here. And right here we have a suspended 4 chord. It makes the walking down of chords sound a lot like nicer. Instead of trying to use major and minor chords, it's going to sound a bit weirder. Right here, I just went with the ear obviously, and I use an augmented chord. But if you're trying to build tension to have walk down parts, then sus4s, sus2s are nice to use. How do you make those chords? Let's say that we have like A minor written out here. These are all the notes in A minor right there. The second note in the scale, this is what would make the sus2. So we would have all these, we keep the 5th sus2 chord. If we want to make a sus4, we just take the 4th note in the scale, the D natural. And yeah, that's what we got there. This is on its first inversion. Why am I saying inversion, blah, blah, blah? Basically, it's because the root note is at the top. Anytime that, let's say the second note in the chord is at the bottom, that's the first inversion. Why? Because you are inverting that basically to be an octave lower than it normally would be. And then same shit over here. Let's say that we just have this at the bottom. Well, now that's the second inversion. And it works the same way for major chords, 7 and 9 chords as well. Blah, 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 music theory, mumbo jumbo. Anyways, though, we got C sharp, sus2. Over here, we are basically doing the exact same shit. Inverting, we got a C minor chord right over there. We have some other chords I low-key can't keep in mind right now because it's been a little bit, can't remember the name of that one. But yeah, moving along. This is an F sharp dominant 7. That's what the fuck that is. But yeah, this is what the ukulele part just sounds like by itself. I just wanted to break that down because it's probably a bit more complex than the other shits I'm gonna go over. So this is what it sounds like here. So yeah, that's what the ukulele part sounds like as the MIDI version, but the chorus, this is what it actually sounds like in the song. Thank God I can play that motherfucking person. Obviously, I comped the heck out of this. This was not one go. This took a little bit of time. I suck ass at the ukulele. I suck ass playing ukulele. While I was making this, I feel like because I wanted so badly to add this bridge, which is literally all of pattern 2, I was just giving myself like some vocals to reference when I was making shit here. So that's what all this is. I just feel like it made it so much easier for me to keep building stuff instead of exporting the beat, recreating stuff as I went, and all that mumbo jumbo. It just made it so much easier in my mind, my sense of nature. So yeah, that's what that is, which kind of just helped me put the bridge together. All right, going over to the very beginning. The very beginning is literally nothing but just ambient noise. I wanted it to feel like we were starting the song literally like outside in nature. So I went to Synology, put some bird sound effects, feature bird. We got bird 1. We have tuned winds. I added some, I removed some release. Then I got sand noise. So the song starts off like this. Cut it off right there because that's when my voice comes in. Moving on, pattern 1 over here is basically our main pattern for the entire song. This is what pattern 1 sounds like. The video that I was watching, I mentioned that I made this beat because I was watching tutorials on how to make Fruitiger Era, I believe that's how you pronounce it, type music. This was the tutorial that I was watching. I heard the sound selection over here of this dude using flex, please skip, and he had this organ. And I just really liked how it sounded. I just really love how that sounded. I'm gonna add this to my watch later. I'm probably not even gonna watch it, but I really love how it sounded. So I was like, okay, fuck yeah, I'm gonna steal some of these motherfucking chords, you feel me? Wait, shit, I'm gonna steal some of the motherfucking chords, you feel me? A good amount of those chords are kind of stuck here. As I mentioned, we have that flex organ called Praise. I just really love how this thing sounds. So as I mentioned, I put it in here. So we have a lot of chopped up chords. We're basically playing the chords that I mentioned earlier. So right over here, we have this B minor 7. We're inverting the 3rd and the 7th down an octave, so that's why we have it like that. Shifting down to the E natural right over here, and yeah, I mean, we're just moving from here. We're going on to what's E minor 7. From there though, I mean, we're basically just bouncing between those chords pretty much. Right over here, chord changes just a tad bit. And yeah, they're just being chopped up. I'm strumming every note that I'm playing for the chord hits ever so slightly. I felt like that made it sound a bit nicer than just having them play all at the same time. So yeah, that's there. I'm just layering the 5th on top and bottom. Over here we have a sus4. As I mentioned, sus chords help create tension, so you can kind of hear like it wants to resolve the chord so much more. Then over here, we're basically just playing a dyad. We're playing a 5th chord, a D5, and it sounds like the tension's released and gone from there. And I just have it doing this because it just sounds cool. As for effects, I have just like a EQ, weirdly shaped EQ, and some like ceiling as well. Over here for the bass, I kind of have it shaped a little bit weird. This is not the bass, this is the sine lead. I'm tripping. For the sine lead, we are having it just bounce from octave to octave. We're using sine lead 2 over here in Synology. That's pretty much the only thing it does the entire way through. Right over here we have the bass. All I'm using for the bass is decapitator, default decapitator on setting number 3. We've got that over there. And this is what it sounds like. A lot of bass, low-key. Even when I was done, I was like, damn, there is a lot of like sub in this, but it is what it is. What I did for the bass though is I have some notes where they don't fully connect. Another thing that I also did for the bass is I let some notes overlap so it kind of feels like it's sliding, and you can also kind of see I'm doing that right over here as well, so it feels like it's kind of gliding in between some notes. With that, I'm using the acoustic bass number 2 in Xenology with the legato and portamento turned up, and yeah, portamento is like right around 118 basically, for anyone that's overly curious about that. Next piece that we have is I have this perk loop of just a simple shaker loop. Have some sustain and release alongside the hold being up, release at 35, sustain at 45. This is what it sounds like. Literally just as simple as that. As simple as that. Resample still on. Next up, we have some claves. Claves are like a major staple beyond like 251 chord progressions. I believe this is like a 6251 or 2516 chord progression. But claves are a major staple in Bossa Nova music. So I wanted to throw one in here. This is what a clave sounds like. And this is the pattern that we have. Very simple. Simple as that. Moving on, we have the kick. This is basically just a generic like Bossa Nova kick pattern. So we got, only time it doesn't play is right after here. It only plays on 1 bar 8. So yeah, we got that. And together, this is the percussion with the bass. So yeah, we have that. Next up, I have this jazz guitar. The jazz guitar is also from Flex. So a lot of this stuff was made with pretty much just free stuff. Obviously for the ambience, I just got lazy. I didn't feel like looking online for anything. This is what we have right over here for the jazz guitar. We are pretty much just strumming the chords playing from before earlier on. So we are playing a D major chord. Obviously B natural still technically fits in here because that's the chord we were playing earlier, but I'll remove that from here. And then right over here, I changed this to another color because I have it slide up to E natural since this chord starts with E natural. So E natural, B, E, G, we're playing like a minor chord right here, E minor. And I'm just gonna turn the rest of this shit off so I can hear the slide a lot easier. So yeah. Just felt like having this repeat here because it also made it just sound like a bit cooler, a bit nicer. So that's what we got right there. Once again, such chord playing right here, a little slide that we also got going on right over here. Cool beans, cool things. Moving on to the next part, which is literally nothing else in here. So this is what it sounds like for the melodic parts, all up in here. And yeah, I mean, we already heard it all together, but once again, shaker is basically working as like a hi-hat here. So yeah, that's what we got there. Right over here, that's the first change that we have. Only thing that happens here is we are taking out a good amount like the shaker. Y'all could also see I kind of like chopped it like a little weirdly and all that stuff. Clave, kick going away. We are changing up the organ over here to a different rhythm. So yeah, we got that. We also got this little like top part as well. And I believe the sine lead also does something cool right over here. It does. So yeah. That's what that sounds like. I also did add one thing onto shit. Wait, did I do this mug in a different version of this? I also added on a muted trumpet part. It is just right over here. It's the dark trumpet W. I pushed the release up a lot, and this is what we have right over here. It's just playing this D major chord to the K. And yeah, that's the only time the whole song it plays. Literally only time. So yeah, cool things, as I mentioned. No percussion, we're still keeping the bass and all that stuff. Bass, I am very sure, didn't change a tad from the first pattern. Never mind, I'm a fucking liar. It did change. Okay, we'll just listen to the bass one time. All right, then we go over to pattern 1 again. I'm gonna go to pattern 3 real quick because it's very simple. It is quite literally just pattern 1. However, a little bit simpler, if anything. So what we got going over here is basically just the bass changing from what it looks like. Y'all gotta give me some leeway because obviously it's not like I'm fixing to remember every single part of this. I'm freestyling, like low-key. Jazz guitar is a little simpler as well. So that's what we got for the jazz guitar. If you're paying it, y'all can't see because of my webcam. The bass is also connected this time around. With the simplification, so yeah, a lot simpler there instead of all the hits y'all heard before. This is what pattern 3 sounds like. I'll just play that for y'all itself. So yeah, we got that. Pattern 5, I don't know if I played the whole thing for y'all. So yeah, we got that there. Y'all are seeing a MIDI right here. This is because I have like some harmony engine stuff. I also use like some vocoding as well in the music. I was gonna show that to y'all, but no lie, I am talking a lot already. I'm gonna get into pattern 5 so y'all can be done listening to my fuck ass voice explain this beat. But last thing we got here is pattern number 2. I can't lie to y'all, this one gave me headaches. This took an hour, maybe a bit longer. I won't lie. Y'all also got to keep in mind I had to figure out the ukulele part as well. But oh, what the fuck? Okay, no, that's in the right place. But yeah, so pattern number 2, the bridge. So here I am, oh my gosh, y'all can already see how fucking much I'm doing over here. Like, Jesus Christ, who the fuck do I think I am? What the fuck? Okay, well, my boom sound effect didn't go in time. We are simplifying the chords out in rhythm. From there, it is right over at bar 7. And that is when I chose to change things. I changed them up earlier. Normally we change them at 9, you change them at 5. I chose to change them at 7. It just felt right whenever I was freestyling the song before I put down lyrics. So we are pretty much starting with our B major chord. Obviously right over here we have a B, not major, minor. Right over here we have a B minor 7. We have a B minor 7 here. It's a lot more full because I'm stacking it more. So I'll just play part of the organ up until 7. Some melodic notes for space. And then right over here, bro, I was trying to fit it all in one go, but whatever. As I mentioned, I already brought up what the chords were earlier. It's the same thing that goes over here. I'm just moving these around for space, and then I chose to put this like organ little solo thing because it just felt cooler. It felt like it was gonna make more stuff feel like it's happening while you're listening. So yeah, obviously y'all can see the MIDI. That's that. There is no sine lead here. As for the bass switches up like a motherfucker as well too. Here's what it sounds like. So we got the normal bass here, and then on 7, the rhythm changes. shorter notes because I really wanted to have the bass accent like a motherfucker. I just wanted the bass to also still be felt. Y'all can see I went hella low on this note, and I felt like having to play a C sharp because the C sharp is a note you wouldn't expect, and it also helps with that tension that's being driven throughout the entire bridge. So that's why we got that over there. As for the perk loop, it stays the same. The clave also stays the same. I mean, it's basically just the pattern that I showed y'all earlier, just copy and pasted a shit ton over. As for the kick pattern changes a good amount after 7. We're basically hitting on 1, and then we're hitting on the and a 4. We're damn near repeating that every other bar. This bar doesn't have it. And then right over here, we bring in 2 more kicks to kind of transition back to the normal pattern that we have. But yeah, that is basically the bridge. I do have some more things. I have some strings that I did add on, so we're gonna hear those real quick. Obviously, y'all can see this is just a string lead, so I felt like more stuff was gonna, you know, more interest in listening to it. So yeah, we got that over there. Right over here, we got the small strings. We got this little grace note, the B natural. We got the B flat right over here. I don't know why I said B natural, but the grace note. If you're wondering why I jumped the octave and I didn't put other stuff, it's because everything down here, especially with how low the bass gets. But yeah, I mean, that's the strings together. We'll listen to those. Jump the octave so it's not as dense in the low end. And then I added on some snares as well in the very end. So yeah, that is quite literally everything for the song. The bridge was like the most interesting part to this for sure. We also obviously, you know, the organ changed a decent amount. The organ kind of brings everything together. Bass for a lot more of the feeling. We got the clave and the kick basically for that bossa vibe, even more so for the percussion. And then we have a perk loop as our quote-unquote hi-hat here as well, only using some other things as like momentary stuff. We got the snare, we have the dark trumpet, we have the ensemble bells, which I low-key forgot to go over. These also show up in quick succession. So over here in Trident, as I mentioned, we have the ensemble bells. They are basically just playing like dyads, in other words, chords of just 2 notes. So this is what the ending sounds like right here for those. What the fuck? Hold up, what the fuck? Why can't I hear anything else? And yeah, with all that yapping said, this is what pattern 2 sounds like in full. I'm gonna shut up because this is the longer one. I also need to add the ukulele. Ukulele is not the strongest part here. It is really just a background texture. This is what we have right over here.